Thank you for joining Hawaii Wellness Network, and I'm very excited to announce we have a new book coming out, and there's 100 amazing authors, and it's called 2013 Messages of Peace from Hawaii, and it's actually in the next Hawaii Wellness Directory, and there is 100 list of authors, and I'm very excited to have an author with us today to talk about the
Number
book.
60.
Oh, are you on the list?
Yes.
But we don't know what order in the book.
Okay.
Yes, so
Mhm.
I think it will just be with a flow.
Mhm.
So thank you, Joanne, for coming in. And what was really fascinating about the book when we started doing the submissions, it was just from everybody. You know, it wasn't professional writers. And I really wanted it raw. I think everybody's sold in the media and it's all this fake facade. And I think everybody wants to hear from real people.
Yeah, so much of writing, especially in TVs and movies, is formulaic. You know, you start to watch them and you go, oh, I know, it's that thought. You know,
Right, it's going to go there, or you've seen it
Yes.
a million times.
Right.
And that's what was so neat about all the submissions, because we had people that were wellness people, or spiritual people, or kahunas, with Hawaiian background, and then there was, people, video people, and more business people, and you're an attorney. So I was so excited to see that.
Thank you.
What do you specialize in?
I focus on estate planning, which frankly is the best area of law if you're going to practice law. It's wonderful.
And that's usually positive.
It's a very, very positive thing. It's a combination of people who have accumulated enough wealth that they're concerned about how they pass it to the next generation, and they are considered enough to be concerned about that. So they sort of select into being the nicest group of people.
And that's better than, just going with people doing lawsuits against.
Yeah. Or even divorce. Divorce can be very nice people, but they're going through a very rough time.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you ever work with people that have pets that incorporate that into their estate plan?
Yes, I've had a couple, and the Hawaii law has changed that you can actually set up a trust for a pet, so there's some guidelines from the statute on how to make that work.
That's nice.
Yeah, because there was, under normal common law before the statute, there was a problem because you couldn't give to a non-person, and a pet is typically a non-person.
Oh, that's
So
horrible.
there was a hurdle that you had to get over. So they just wrote a statute to say, here's how you do it.
That's nice.
Yeah.
It's normally pretty pet friendly.
Yeah.
That's great. So when you received the email about our book,
Mhm.
we sent it out, I believe, in October
Yes.
of this past year, and we were talking about, the messages for 2013 and beyond, because everybody at that time was talking about 2012 and the end of the world, and so I really wanted to hear from everyday people on messages to the world, about peace, and we put this project together with Word. Word's very sweet.
Yeah.
So when you received that email, what excited you and what inspired you?
Well, I received it from Ann Patrikas. She knew I had just written a book, A New Day in Hawaii. So she knew I was interested in writing and getting more involved in writing and speaking. And so she sent it to me. And what really got me excited about it, having done my book, is knowing that you guys were really going to promote it.
Yes, and that's the hardest part.
And that,
when
yes,
you're-
and
when
that's
you
the
write
part
your
that I
own
didn't do
book.
with my book. So I thought, great. Not only can I write something, they will do all the heavy lifting around getting the word out. So I thought, that's wonderful.
Right.
And then, of course, the theme, to talk about peace, like you, I shared the optimistic belief that the world was not going to end.
And you were right, because we're still
Yes.
here and it's
And we were
February.
still here, and I thought, what a great way to open the new Mayan age, as it were, to have messages of peace and try and set a new course in a new direction.
And was there any themes that were similar in your book? Because I would love to read your book now. But I
My-
don't know.
Kind of, but not really. My book was about the quest for justice and the 10 years I've spent working at the Capitol trying to get civil rights for gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender people. So to the extent that justice and peace are related, which I think they are, they would be similar.
That's nice. And you did all of that's ongoing to learn the system.
Right.
Yeah.
And I focused my piece on what aloha has come to mean to me and what pono has come to mean to me. And I think that's a lot of the work that we're doing in trying to get equality established and the recognitions of couples and non-traditional families is that extension of aloha, the expansion of ohana.
And there is a lot of similarities, because, especially the astrologers and the people that have gone to the workshop for 2013, they're talking about, we're going into a new phase. Well, it's not me, myself, and I, and materialism. It's, what can we do to accomplish working together?
And we have seen that politically. I've been involved in politics for quite a while, and it's just been recently that everyone is becoming aware that there's a generation of people in their 20s and 30s especially, although I think even younger, but we're starting to see them in their 20s and 30s really come forward and wanting to become involved, more involved in social and political issues.
Because, of course, I know the session's open for 2013
Yes.
since last month. Because on Facebook, I'm starting to get, oh, I heard about this bill, and the hearing's coming up, and get involved from GMOs to nutrition to fluoride in the water to, and there's a lot of really positive bills from
Right.
last year that
Right.
didn't get passed. So it's really neat to see everybody involved, and they're going to hearings and updating everybody.
And with the change in leadership in both houses, there was the change, there was sort of an upheaval in the House, and in the Senate president got appointed to lieutenant governor. So there's been sort of a shakeup, minor or major, in both houses. So it gives opportunities for new people to have leadership, new bills to have chances that may have been suppressed before and so on.
And this session, I believe I did it last weekend, was really interesting for the first time. I mean, I've been involved in bits and pieces of different bills, but I actually went with my roommate and went through every single bill on the Senate side. And it was actually really interesting to see, what was changing, the little things. There's a lot, for seniors, and
Right.
so it was very interesting just to have that knowledge, and and maybe picking one or two platforms that are important to you.
Yeah. And I would really encourage people to get involved. You can now submit testimony online, which is real easy, literally fill in the blanks. And then going down and testifying is wonderful too. Testifying sounds so scary, but it really is a classroom with a long table and a microphone, and you just sit down and you just talk to the legislators and you say what you have to say. If they have questions, they ask you questions. But it's very casual. I would say it's even less casual than most classroom situations. It's not at all intimidating.
Right, and they're actually very nice, and we talk for about
Yes.
30 to 60 seconds. And typically, isn't it like 10 bills are being heard in a couple hours?
Yes.
They just call it.
Yeah. So quite often, more often than not, your bill will not be the first one. So you can kind of listen and see the rhythm of how it works. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
good for you for, paving the path in the
Yeah.
last, 5 or 10 years for people that are just, because I think I got involved with a nutrition bill last year.
Mhm.
And so that was really interesting learning process. But I still have a lot to learn. I look at the bills and I don't understand the initials. And, Hawaii reported there's a lot of great companies out there that kind of work.
Right.
Well, how could someone get your book if they'd like to read?
It is
more about
available through Amazon.com, and there's a black and white version and a colored version. I made the black and white version to keep the price point low, and a colored version and a Kindle version. They're all available through Amazon.com. You just, Google, like you Google everything, A New Day in Hawaii, and it'll pop up.
That's great. And you probably have the tape terms that you had mentioned, the synopsis of the book.
Right, right.
Research for that. It's just
Yeah.
amazing how it's gone from print to now it's Kindle, and
Mhm.
I'm trying to keep up, and thank goodness that we're working with Word Grace, because she's amazing with all the ebooks. And so
Right.
she's uploading and formatting, and I'm just learning all this terminology. Then once you get it up, that's the easy part, and then
Mhm.
marketing the book.
Right.
Well, thank you for participating in the book.
My
It's
pleasure.
exciting to read. And what's exciting to me is everybody is going to connect with someone else.
Mhm.
In the book, it's like, oh
Yes.
wow, I can really, and because everybody's just so diverse in their messages.
Yes, and I look forward to it because I think there was, a 250 word, there was a limit, that it's
Yeah.
not too long, so that
Right.
means you could easily get through and get a taste of each person's thoughts.
Right. So it's only maybe 3 or 4 paragraphs, like one
Right.
page. So it's it's going to be quick reading and something you can take to the beach. Yeah, so it'll be out at the end of the month.
Hooray!
Well, thank you for coming on and sharing, and we're just really excited to have your expertise with the book.
Oh, my pleasure.
Background.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.